Hello once again, audience, and welcome to another video on A4 Sky Dorked. I am Dan, aka A4 Sky, and let's get into this. Today's video is a review on the Star Wars Lando graphic novel right here. Ooh. It's such a good graphic novel. There's not a lot of action that happens in it. There is some action. But anyway, let's get into this. All right, so actually, this is here. I'll bring it closer so you can see it a little better. Front of the cover. This is the back. This is the back of the cover. All right. So when it starts off, we have Lando with trying to pronounce it. There's two S's. Saria. I think that's Saria. I think it's an extended S. Not really sure. I'm terrible with spellings. And so it opens with Lando being with this woman who happens to be an imperial governor. Yes. Oh, not so good on the words today. Alright, so yes, it opens up with him with her, Lando with her, and he is talking about, he has like this ball, this trinket in his hand. You can see right there, that's what it looks like, so you get an idea. So it opens with him talking to her about how he wants to steal that object. It's actually a job that he took on from, it'll show a little later, there's some exchange between him and her, how he's coming out there being like, hey, you know, I was going to steal this, but I'm going to talk with you. And then she threatens his life, pretty much. Yeah, so after that it goes to him going into this bar where he runs into his friend Lobot. I think that's L-O-B-O-T. It's either Lobo or Lobot. I don't know if the T is silent, but we'll go with Lobot. So it goes to him, he's talking about, Lobot says to him, so you got the item. And then Lando is called into the room where the guy who he was doing the job for, Papa Torrens his name, and he has three little guys flying around him. Here, I'll show you that. There, so three little guys. I don't know what race any of them are in the Star Wars universe. I don't really recognize them. Those three little guys, they talk for Papa Torren. So Lando hands Papa Torren the trinket, and since since the object's his, which we find out, it originally belonged to Papa Torren, and it was stolen from him. He takes off 10% of Lando's overall debt that he owes this person. Then Lando's kind of like, 10%? What? I went through all that, and he explains to him it was my item to begin with. I thank you for retrieving it. But it's not Papa Torren. It's those three little things flying around doing all the talking for him. So then Lando gets this this new mission, where he comes out, talks with Lobot, and then from there they have a little bit of a discussion while they're walking through the city, where Lando goes and retrieves three people to help with this mission. Well, Lobot is included. It's like his partner in crime. So two of the people that Lando recruits are very, very, very good fighters. They're in case they run into any sort of battles. They have to be done, and their names are Alexin and Pavel. They look like panthers, kind of, like humanoid panthers. Not really sure what race they are exactly. Lando and Lobot, they recruit these two, then they go grab one final person. Now this next person that they recruit for the mission, Sava Korin Pers, who happens to be very good with knowledge when it comes to Jedi and stuff, which you find out later on, that they did a lot of studying and research on the Jedi, the Sith. I'll show you here. Hold on. Where are we? What they look like right there. And I'm pretty sure from later on reading that it is an old woman. Once again, I'm not quite sure what race. I think a humanoid race, possibly. They're one of the humans. I think the same as like Lando and Lobot. But Lobot has chips implanted into his head, so he's able to use them kind of like droids do, where they could like hack into stuff and all that. You get to see some of that later on when you read through. So yes, the 5 of them take off on this journey, and this journey. It actually does end up being quite a journey. They go steal the ship, which happens to belong to none other than Emperor Palpatine. Now this mission, not 100% sure what they were supposed to steal. I think it was the ship itself that Papa Tauren wanted, and it more than pays for Lando and Lobot's debt, and then some. Like, they get a bunch of other money besides that. They get aboard that ship, they start to take off, and all of a sudden, 3 Star Destroyers, they show up, and Lando is super excited. Everyone else is like freaking out. They're like, oh no, what do we do? They sent 3 Star Destroyers after us. And Lando's like, this is part of the plan. This works out perfect. This will be a lot easier to escape. So a little bit of stuff happens in between. I don't want to spoil too much about this during this review. And what happens is 2 of the Star Destroyers send their tractor beams one side and the other of the ship, which happens to be called the Imperialis. Yeah, so they send tractor beams off each side, so Lando takes advantage of that and gets it so both ships pull each other, like both Star Destroyers collide into each other. He takes off in the ship with the 4 other people. From that, we go off to see the Inner Rim, Amethea Prime, where we run into another character who happens to look like a Mandalorian. So I'm not quite sure if they're a Mandalorian or not. They seem to be wearing the armor, they have the jet boots, but their name is Chanith Cha. So it goes where Chanith Cha is already doing a mission to take someone in. They're a bounty hunter by the look of it. And they receive a message from Emperor Palpatine himself, where Emperor Palpatine's bringing them in to retrieve the Imperialis from the people who stole it. They don't know who stole it, so they're just trying to retrieve the ship, and Chanith Cha is hired by the Emperor. Now, I spent quite some time looking at the armor and stuff when I first read through, before they revealed the name of this character. And I was like, is that the Mandalorian from The Mandalorian? Nah. The armor doesn't look quite right. You know, it doesn't look exactly the same. They end up revealing the name, which happens to be different from the Mandalorian from the series. From that, we clip over to everyone being back on the ship. Lando, Lobot, Alexin, Pavel, and Soren, we'll call her Soren, are all exploring the ship more to try to figure out what's on board the ship, why it's so important to the Empire, or Imperials. So they end up opening up this door where 2 Imperial guards come out. They attack Lobot, and I don't know why I'm changing his name. Like, I'm going between Lobot and Lobo. Lobo sounds way cooler than Lobot, but I don't know if the T is silent, so I'm going to keep going with Lobot. So at this point, they're kind of wondering why these 2 Imperial guards are on there. There's what they're trying to find out about the cargo that it's holding, what's on board the ship, becomes even bigger of like a question for them to figure out. They want to find out even more. So like, if these Imperial Guards are here, this ship is even bigger than what we thought. We could be set for life, money-wise. Lobot ends up going to a medical bay. Lando takes him to get healed up. But while they're doing that, the two fighters, Alexin and Pavel, are fighting the Imperial Guards. And that battle is pretty awesome. There's not like a super large amount of battle, but there's a bunch of stuff that goes on where they make you think they're going to lose, and I almost feel like I'm spoiling too much of this already, because I've already went through a lot of what happens in it, but I'm trying to make sure to keep like a lot of the conversations and stuff out of it, so that way when you read it, you'll get more enjoyment after watching this than if I was to tell every single little detail. So what ends up happening? I'm gonna shorten this up now, so I'm not spoiling too much. What ends up happening is I find out that there's all these Sith items, relics and stuff, aboard the ship, and the two characters, Alexin and Pavel, end up getting lightsabers. They pretty much seem to, I wouldn't really say lose their minds, but they turn on Lando. Eventually, the mercenary, Chanith Cha, shows up on the ship, recognizes Lando, pulls a helmet off, ends up being this woman who is an old friend of both Lobot and Lando. So that was pretty interesting twist, find out. But anyway, so a bunch of stuff happens. The two with the lightsabers come after Lando and them. As you know, Lando survives. Lando's still alive because of the movies and stuff. I believe this takes place, I want to say, just before Episode 4, A New Hope. So yes, I believe it takes place before A New Hope or during A New Hope. Not 100% sure. Like right in the beginning, it does, even though it's paper, it does like the Star Wars opening, and it explains a little bit about Lando, like what's going on with Lando, and how the rebels are rising against the Imperials, and so it gives smugglers more opportunities to steal items, move items around, this and that. Now I'm going back to the end of the comic, where Lando gets away. Lando, I'm not going to tell who else gets away, but we all, you already know that Lando survives, as I was saying earlier. So, okay, actually I do, okay, I'll have to say one of the other characters will get out. Lobot gets out as well, and like the end ends with like a whole touching thing where Lobot opens up about how he feels about Lando. Last but not least, I'm going to give this a rating now. Time for the rating time! Woo! Alright, so the Star Wars Lando comic, I give a 9 out of 10. Amazing story. Just, I feel like I'm sure it wasn't supposed to have a lot of action, but I love action with stuff. I love the action in Star Wars, and I love the story. But it was lacking a little bit in action. There was some action, though. So I give it a 9 out of 10. And I absolutely recommend checking it out. So if you love Star Wars, especially if you love Lando, check that out. So yeah, that is my review for this. I had to do a lot of thinking, so I wasn't able to go all crazy with the nerdy stuff like I usually do. I had to do a lot of recollecting and concentrating, so I was trying to do a little more like how most reviews are. I discussed more about this one comic than I did on the Deadpool review that I did. So I hope you all really enjoyed this. As always, it was a blast recording, doing this, being able to be the nerdy part of myself on camera. Now, time to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed this video. You could check out my Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, I believe it is. Here, we'll put it there. You can subscribe. Make sure to thumbs up or thumbs down. If you thumbs down, make sure to comment what you did not like, so that way I know. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out my main channel, A4 Sky. Have a nice day, morning, evening, night, afternoon, and I'll see you in the next video.